This week on This and That Garage, we're back on the old 65C10 LS 5.3 that we're trying to put a distributor on the front of. If you will recall, we had a little trouble with the water pump last time we worked on it. I didn't know what I was going to do. Well, I have figured it out. I'll tell you all about it here in just a minute. If you will recall, we were trying to use a Corvette water pump because we needed the pulley to be back so we can move the water pump out with these space saws. But you had a thingamabob right here that was hitting this and hitting the bracket. Well, I thought about bringing this bracket out and then, I don't know, bolting it some kind of way, or maybe we could cut part of this bracket away, but then we'd have to relocate that. I didn't want to. I got on the interwebs that night, and I thought I had seen an LS1 motor, like I have a Camaro, that had a really wide pulley. Well, I got on the interwebs and I found it. Then I went and bought it at AutoZone. There it is right there. See how wide that pulley is? Pretty sure that's going to take care of our issue. Let's get it over here and see if it'll bolt up to this and avoid all these accessory brackets. If you will recall also, our bolts were too short. Well, I contacted the people I bought these spacers from. I said, look, your bolts are too short. So they give me a little bit of money back to go buy some longer bolts. We got to do that tomorrow, but for now I just got these, what are these called, transfer punches stuck in here to help us get lined up. And is this correct? Like this and like this? Oh, we're hitting our pulley there. Well, let's take this little feller off real quick. Now let's see if we're going to hit anything. We are. Look at there, fellers. She bolts right up. It ain't hitting over here now. Will this work, or we got to do something different? I think it's going to work. All right, we got to have a new one of these because that's almost locked up. Push that up there where it goes. I think that's going to work, fellers. Yep, I sure do. So that's awesome. Let's look about our clearance. I'm going to have to cut just a wee bit off of that front of that shaft. That ain't no major deal. But yes, sir, that is going to work just fine and dandy. Oh, yeah. Well, let me get this feller out of the way and we'll go working on our little seal holder. All that. Let me just refresh your memory of what we're doing. This shaft is bolted to the end of the cam. Then, you know, we got to have something to seal this hole up with. So we made us this seal holder plate. Well, here's the seal. Let me grab it. It's meant to go over that shaft. It's going to sit down in this piece of aluminum. And we've got to counterbore it. And then once we do that, we got our little cog pulley. We'll give her a little bit of clearance, about like that. And then we're going to cut a little bit off the end of this because it's real close to the water pump. And there you go. We'll have 4 small screws, 1 on each corner, drill and tap into this. Have a gasket here. And that'll be that. First thing we need to do is go over to the machine shop, counterbore that where that fits down in there. Well, I got it set up on the mill, got it centered up best I can. This seal it measures like 100 inch and 10 by thousandths on the OD. So we're gonna go like 995 to 1 inch. I would just take a 1 inch end mill board out, but the head here, it's got a little wobble. It'll be 15-20 thousandths oversized. So best thing to do is use a boring bar. I got her set up. I've done made a couple passes just to clean it up. We're only going a 1/4 inch deep because that's how deep that seal is. Let's get to cutting. Taking a 20 by thousandths cut right now. just to get the feel of the machine. It's been a while since I have used this milling machine and a boring bar. Like I said, we're only going 1/4 inch deep. All right, we're bottomed out. Turned it off, and I got to get my spectacles. This is kind of funny right here, fellas, because I can't see no more, and the lines on this dial, I don't believe a guy with 20/20 vision could see them. Yeah, we're on 40. I've been going 20,000. There's 10. I think that's about 20 right there. Let's give her the old try and see what it does. Normally I'd be spraying with this WD-40. Aluminum will stick to the cutter. I ain't got none, so we'll just have to do what we do best we can. All right, let me measure and just see approximately where we're at. We are at, that is 750. Got not quite 1/4 inch to go. Let me adjust on this a little bit more. Got to loosen that. And then I gotta get my spectacles on because I'm blind as a bat. I gotta go, I can't see it. I think right there. We'll try it, see what it does. Bottomed out. All right. Well, as you can tell, this is going to be a really slow process. When I get closer to the end, I'll be back. Well, we're at about 932. We need to go around 995 or so. This thing is going a little big. You know, the dial's a little off. I mean, it's, you know, made in China. What do you expect? Anyway, this could be the last cut. We're fixing to find out. All right, we're bottomed out. Let me do some measuring. What do we have? We have approximately exactly, that's about 86 or 87. Let's just see what this little feller feels like. Do we think it'll go in? No, it's a little bit tight, I think. Let's go another 10-ish. Gotta get my spectacles on so I can see what I'm doing. 10 total means 5 here, so we'll go about right there. Then it's gonna be a very light cut. All right. What'd that leave us with this time? Yeah. That's about 93, 94. Was creeping up to 95. That's about what I wanted. Let's see what we feel like. I think we can make that fit. That'll be about a 15 thousandths. Yeah, I think we can make it fit. I really hate to move it, but let me move it where I can see if I can't peck this in there. I got the table locked down because if you don't do that, she'll wobble when you're boring. That's how wore out this thing is. It's worse than the lathe. All right, will it go in? Yeah. It cut a little bit off of it, but well, that is actually, yeah, that's a little bit tight. I wish I would have went a little bigger. Tell you what, let me take it loose and where I can look at it real good. Well, here's the deal. I brought it over here to the table, put that piece of wood on there and drove it on in. It went. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. That's rubber that it cut off because, you know, it's a little tight. That just means that it ain't gonna leak. I was wondering maybe, you know, if I squished it too much, it might deform this seal. It don't look like it. This is 1/2 inch, and that's what this is supposed to go on. and it looks okay. I think it'll be all right. Let me do some marking, and we'll drill and counterbore for our bolts. See what, it's getting junked up around here. Sometime for too long, I got to get over here and clean this basement up and out. Anyways, I'm using 1032 Allen head bolts. Got a counterbore for the head, because I want it flush. I got them marked. Now we got to make us a punch mark. Well, that automatic punch right there don't work. There it goes. Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Now we want to make a little bigger mark. If I had a good mill with a good DRO, I would probably still lay it out like this, but now to get this centered on the mill, because I got a counterboard after I drill it, I'll have to get a punch and stick it in the mill and move the table around until I get it centered over that. I got to do that for each hole. It's aggravating is what it is, but it's better than not having anything at all. So, yeah. Basically, what I got right here to center things with is a countersink tool, bit, cutter, whatever you want to call it. It's got a good sharp point on it. And I'm going to have to get these glasses on because that ain't nothing but a big old blur. And you just keep moving the table around until you get her real close, like about right there. Oh, let me go back. Yes, sir, that's close enough. Now I have to lock the table down because, like I said, it will wobble because it's so wore out when you're boring on this. There's another one under here. You got to lock down. Then you have to pull this little feller here out and get a drill or an end mill. I don't know if I got an end mill small enough because it's what am I using? 1032 is basically a 3/16 diameter bolt. My end mills go to 3/16. Look at here, Bellers. Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're going to use. Let me well, do I have a collet? Yeah, that right there. Will and shall do. This, I have to do this for every hole. It's aggravating, but like I said, it's better than, the alternative, which is not having this to do with, Well, that ain't going to tighten up on that, so that's good. What's going on here? Still ain't tight. We'll try that. Hopefully it don't slip. Fire it up and see what we do. You take these handles off too. That way you don't bump them. Well, what's wrong with it? Oh, wait a minute. I got her locked down. You pull that thing up there to lock this spindle where you can tighten it up. Anyway, you take the handles off because if you don't do that, you're going to bump one of them and you'll move the table. And there you'll be off center. Anyway, I bet this feller here ain't going to go down far enough. So I've got to raise the knee. I got to raise it up now. Yep. I'll be back in a little bit, fellas. It's going to take a few minutes. All right, I think we are ready. Let me fire it up and bore this little feller out right here. Trying to go slow because that's a pretty small end mill and I don't want to break it. All right, we are broke through. Now what I got to do is take that end mill out, maybe. Then put the 5/16 in there. That's going to be our counter bore. It'd be nice if I had an end mill, that was 3/16 and 5/16. Just use it all at once. I ain't got one, so we got to do it like this. Then run her down till it touches, and we got to get our gauge. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. Let me zoom you out. This is your depth gauge right here. You got a little scale, and then there's a dial here with numbers on it. I think it's 50 thousandths per revolution. This is why it takes so long to get anything done on this old machine. It's old, fellers. It is definitely old. All right, we're bottomed out there. Now, what is the depth of this head right here is 190. We'll go 1/4 inch. So that means I got to get my glasses so I can see where these numbers are. That's basically 40. So 50, 100, 2, and 50. If you want to double check it, just do this right here with your calipers, and if that says 250, which it does, then you're ready to go. All right, let's counterbore this. Fire it up on hole. All right, let's counterbore our first hole. And there she is. Turned it off, and where did my bolt go? What does it look like? Well, it looks A-okay to me. Sure does. I got to do this 3 more times, and I'll be back. Last counterbore, and then we'll be done. Let's see what the bolt looks like. Like a glove. Oh, yeah. Awesome. With our it is done. That's about all we're going to do today. Today's New Year's Day, and I've been lazy. I wasn't going to do nothing. But then I got bored. I said, well, let's see if we can't get this piece done at least. Well, I don't have any bolts. And I don't have any bolts for the water pump. They're too short. I'm ill prepared is what I'm trying to tell you. I wasn't planning on doing nothing. Tomorrow I'll run to town, get bolts for this, bolts for the water pump. We'll get this little feller drilled and tapped. But until then, see y'all tomorrow. Let me show y'all something very quickly. If you will recall, Evil Energy has been sponsoring the channel with parts for last few months. And he sent me some stuff for the 65C10 several months ago, but we haven't worked on it until now. So I figured I would show y'all what they sent me. Remember the stainless steel mufflers that we put on Jolly Green? Well, there's 2 more. We're going to try them out on the C10. We got us a fuel pressure regulator. That is billet aluminum. That's pretty nice looking. Yep, got a little gauge there and fittings and whatnot. And we got us 4 more muffler clamps. We'll probably, when I get this motor on the run stand later on in the week, we'll probably put these on there. Just see what they sound like. Y'all go check them out. Evil Energy. I'll put a coupon code right here. There'll be a link in the description for these products here, along with the coupon code down in there. Y'all go check them out. Appreciate it, Evil Energy. Let's get back to working on this old motor. Today's the next day. I just got back from town. Went and got me some bolts. I had to go to Lowe's because our bolt store, I guess they're closed the rest of the week due to the holidays. Lowe's was the only place to get bolts, and they don't have a very great selection. Plus, they're very expensive. I got some, where are they at? I don't even know what I did with them. Oh, they're in that bag right there. I wanted 1032s for this, but they didn't have any. They had 1024s. I wanted 32s because this cover's real thin. 32 thread pitch is better than 24. More threads, less apt to strip it out. Anyway, 1024s we're going to have to do. They didn't well, they did have some long enough for the water pump, but they want $5 a piece for those bolts. I was like, no, sir, sure ain't doing it. Anyways, we got to get the cover on, and we got to get the balancer on to get the cover centered, bolt it up, and then we can slide our bearing holder over this and drill and tap But before we can do that, this is rusted, the snout on that crank. So I gotta shine that up a little bit. Then we can put the stuff on. Do a little polishing right here. This little feller here, it won't even hardly go on. So there's a pretty good press fit. This is gonna be a pain because I don't know how many times we're gonna have to take this on and off. But we're gonna whoop it on this time, hopefully. I need a bigger chunk of wood. That ain't doing nothing, fellers. Well, I got a little bit bigger hammer. There just ain't no easy way to do this. There we go. Oh, yeah. We just didn't have enough hammer. Now I want to bolt this up. Put some in the bottom firstly to pull it down like it's going to be, you know, and then tighten these two here. Now, that cover should be centered up here. Now we can put our little seal retainer plate on here, just like that right there. Get her pretty straight by eyeball. Now I can take a punch, mark these holes, drill and tap. Got a 3/16 center punch, transfer punch, whatever you want to call it. Give her a little light tap. Did we mark? Well, if I had my glasses on, I could probably tell you. Let me go get them because I can't see nothing right there. Well, I can't see nothing, fellas. Let's start with this one over here. All right, I have a mark. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. That way it's easier to see. Then we're gonna drill a hole. Where did that mark go? There it is. I'm blind as a bat, I ain't kidding you. Then we're gonna spray it with a little W&D. Spray the tap also. I ain't gonna be able to use this handle because it's gonna hit that dampener probably. All right, we got our first hole. Let me wipe this shavings off. We'll put a bolt in it. I'm trying to keep as much shavings out of the motor as I can, but I imagine a little bit's gonna get in it. All right, let's get this first bolt started, tightened down. Look at there, fellers, screwing right in. Oh yeah. There's no need in just cranking that down. This ain't holding any kind of pressure or nothing. Just get it snug. It's naturally centered on that shaft. So now what we want to do, let's get this one across from it. Approximately right there. This is right in the way. It really is. Take it back off. Hopefully I got a mark that I can see. Well, let me get my glasses on, but I don't think so, because nope. I don't see nothing. Let me get a little paint and paint that black. All right, let that dry for a minute. Whilst I was waiting for this paint to dry, I was looking down in here, and the bolts that hold this shaft to the cam gear, they are, I mean, just a hair for rubbing this cover. I don't know if that cam has any movement back and forth. I'm sure it does some. So what we're probably gonna have to do with this, countersink those three holes and put flathead bolts, and then we'll have to Loctite them. Yep, that will be something that we have to do here for too long before we run it. But for now, I think this is dry enough. Let's get the rest of these holes done. Let's punch a lunch this hole again. Maybe we'll be able to see it this time. Do I have a mark? Oh yeah, I can see it there. Now, I'm gonna have to take this dampener off. I guess, you know, we've got this bolted down. It's not gonna move, so we can take this off now. So let me get my puller out, figure out how to use it. We'll pull this off. This is actually a Chrysler harmonic balancer puller. I bought this like 2 months ago. I don't remember if it was cheaper than an LS or I don't remember, but it seemed like there was something you had to change. You got these little fellers here that go in here, and then your pusher bolt pushes on it. I don't remember. But anyway, we're gonna attempt to use it. These little things here hook on the inside of these doodads here, approximately in this vicinity. Will it or won't it? Well, apparently it is. Ta-da! Now, we get to this little fella here and drill it. I hope that's it. All right, hopefully that one will line up with our first one. Will it or won't it? Yep, sure enough does. Let me get these other two. I'll be back. We'll take this cover off and well, we're gonna clean a little stuff up, and then we'll look at this here about countersinking them holes. I ain't got the bolts. We'll have to, we may have to wait till Monday to go to the actual bolt store. Anyway, let me get these other two done up. Y'all look at here, fellers. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? There's screw number 4 right there. Let's tighten them all down just like they're going to be. And there you have it. One seal retainer installed on our 5.3 LS. I'm going to try to vacuum some of this stuff out. I don't see none on that chain. There's a little bit right in here. It don't look too bad, but let me vacuumize it anyway. All right, got my pulley on there tight now where it's going to go. You can see how much we need to probably chop off that. Let's put the water pump on here. I made me some bolts, 2 of them. These are the metric. Cut the heads off and I welded some 5/16 bolts onto them, just long enough so we can tighten it up. Get this little fella up on here, right here, like it goes right here. All right, that has got maybe 50 thousandths clearance on that water pump. We'll have to cut it off, but we ain't got to right now. I gotta have this on here though, so we can get our distributor where it's going to go and then start working on our mount. Now that I've done this, I'm gonna turn the camera off and go to picking my brain and figure out how I'm gonna do it. I have pondered and pondered over this for probably 2 hours, trying to decide how I want to mount this distributor. Well, we know it's got to go about right here. The pulley is going to go here, so we're going to cut her off about right here. Anyway, it's got to be positioned about right there. I think what I'm going to do, it'd be nice if I could center it over that gear, about right there probably. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come up here with a piece of metal. It's going to have 2 slots in it. Then there's going to be another U-shaped piece like this that will bolt to these slots. That will let me adjust it up and down to tension the belt. Then on this end, well, there'll just be a hole cut for this, like on the regular small block Chevrolet, a hole with a tapped hole over here and the hold down. That way we can adjust our timing this way. I think that's how I'm going to do it. Yep. The only thing is now I'm getting some measurements and start cutting. Let's start with this piece here. Let me get my tape measure and see how tall it needs to be. It's going to go, let me get her centered. Probably right there. We got plenty of room for that belt. Yep, let's do that. So let's start with a piece of metal 9 inches, and we'll go from there. I made this pattern. That's the base of this piece here. It's going to bolt there. So let's get over here and cut us some metal. Oh yeah. I was wanting to use aluminum, but all I got is this 1/2 inch. It's just too thick. So we're gonna go with steel right now. Let's do some marking right here. Right there. I'm sure y'all can't see nothing because my big old fat arm's in the way. Come down like that. I need to go approximately 9 inches up, which will be right here. Oh, you sorry son of a gun. It scooted on me. Anyway. Just like it right there. All right. Oh, wait a minute. I got to square it up this way because we're only going 5 inches wide instead of 6. There you go. Let me get the plasma cutter out. Go to cutting. Oh, bad. Let me do a little grinding on that, clean all that up. This calls for the big boy grinder. Let's drill these 2 holes real quick like. Will it bolt up or do I got to do some more grinding to shape it a little better? I think it's going to be all right. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that'll work. Now, I bolted that up there. And this has got to be cut out a little bit. We're probably going to go, let's see, we're going to probably turn that about like that. Cut it out down to 2 inches should be plenty. 2 down, 2 across. So 2, 3 1.5 over. I think that'd be right. Make a mark there, make a mark there. Is that 2 inches? Yep. Then we go 2 inches down. Approximately like that. Well, where's my soaping stone? I'll make us a mark. It ain't gotta be perfect, fellas. This is prototype stuff. And if it works, then it'll be permanent. Something like that. Let me cut that out with the plasma cutter. We still got to do our slots here, for adjustment up and down. We'll do that later. But for now, let's get this other U-shaped part made. Let me get my tape measure over here. We're going to have her approximately there. That gives me plenty of room to twist it around. Got to get enough room for that pulley. I'm going to say bring her out right there, whatever that is. That is approximately exactly. We'll go 2.5 inches. How about that? All right. Let me get some metal cut, and I shall return. I have 3 pieces of metal cut here. This is the upright piece. We're going to put a nut here and a nut here. That's going to be our adjustment up down, and then this is the top of it. And then this will go like this. This is the part that this is going to stick through. So we got to find a center and drill a hole out where this just barely, it's a fairly tight fit. I don't know what size it is. Let me find center, and then I'll measure that and see what we got to do. I do believe this is 2.5 inches, so it'll be, yeah, 1 1/4. Actually, it's about 2.4. Yeah, I cut her under, so we'll go 1.2. How about that? For the center mark that away. This way we are approximately, wow, same thing. I'm 100 thousandths under, 4.9, which would be 2 4/50. Right there, right there. They're pretty much dead on. So let me give it a punch. We'll make a punch mark. Oh yeah, buddy. All right, approximately right in this area. Now, what size are you, little buddy? You are 1.25 inches. So I think the biggest drill bit I got over here is 3/4. That's all we're gonna be able to do tonight. But let me get this drilled out first as I can. I don't know that this little drill press can handle a 3/4 inch drill bit. Come on, man. Yeah, this little drill press, 3/4 is about all it wants. We'll take that piece to the machine shop tomorrow and use the boring bar on the milling machine. I've got an 1.25 inch drill bit, but it'll waller it out. I want that to be fairly tight, so we'll use the boring bar. What we can do right now, get us a measurement on these 2 nuts, drill holes out, and then we can go ahead and weld these. That looks pretty good there. So what if we put them at, that's about 5/8. That's what we'll mark it at in the center. This piece I think was 1 inch. Yep, so go 1/2 inch. Mark that away, mark that away. Hit her with the punch a lunch. All right, let's drill them out. Now what I want to do is let's take this piece off, lay it on the table. We need to center this up on it, clamp it down, punch and punch, and then we got to mill out our slots in that piece right there. Get this feller centered up on this piece. Then clamp them together so it don't move. Take this here transfer punch right there, right there. Now we've got these holes transferred to this piece. Not tonight, but tomorrow maybe we'll put this on the mill and slot these out, and we'll have that took care of. Oh yeah. Now what we can do is bolt these nuts here to this plate, just like it's right here. Let me get my socket. Get the other one, where to go? Here it is. Now we can weld these nuts in place. I'm going to remove these bolts, and then we can weld these 2 pieces together. And then we're going to be about done for the night because I need the meal and it's late, so I don't want to go over there and disturb people. Anyway, let's get this welded up. Here's all the pieces together. Like I said, we'll have to slot this tomorrow. That'll be our up and down adjustment to tighten our belt up. And we've got to bore this out to 1.25 inches, and I can see right now I got to U-shape this middle out here like this piece. And then I weld this little fella up there like that. Then we got to cut this off, probably about right here. We got to put the pulley on that shaft. I got a concern with this. If my memory serves me right, there's a bushing down here and a bushing up here. I'm concerned if we're doing away with this part of the shaft, there ain't gonna be no bushing on this side. Is it gonna be too rough on this bushing here and wear it out too soon? I don't know. Time will tell, because I'm hoping this week to get all this done and put it on the run stand and fire this thing up. That's my goal anyway. Whether or not we achieve it, I don't know. But anyway, tomorrow we'll get all this done and we'll keep on trucking. See y'all tomorrow. Today's the next day again. Here we are at the machine shop once more. I got my plate set up. We're fixing to do our little adjustment slots in here on both sides. I'm going with we're using 3/8 bolts. I was going to use 7/16 end mill, but then I remember this little feller here got a little bit of slop. So we'll just use a 3/8, and then it'll make it a little larger, and that'll be okay. I think we're going to go probably 1.5 inches long. So let us get busy. All right, let's go down. We're only taking about 20 thousandths this cut. And if y'all watch real close, you can see this table wiggle. I think I've got it locked down the wrong way. No, I don't. No, I don't. Y'all know I don't have a DRO. If you don't know what a DRO is, let me tell you. It's digital readout. You'll have a scale attached to this axis and a scale attached to this axis. When you move the mill, you got a readout screen up here. When you move the mill, your numbers will move, and it tells you how much you have moved. Well, I need to go in. I'm gonna make these slots 1.5 inches long. I don't have a DRO, so we have to use our dial over here on the handle. 200 thousandths per revolution, so we need to go 7.5 revolutions to go 1.5 inches. Here we go. We're on 45, so y'all remember that. Which way do I need to go? This is left-hand thread. I need to go this way. There's a 1. There's something ain't right here. That don't look right. I'm off on my math, because that's way more than, yeah. Well, I almost messed up, which it ain't a big mess up, but I forgot to add the thickness of my cutter. It's a 3/8. So we don't need to go 7 revolutions. It's roughly 5.5-ish. This doesn't have to be exact. Anyway, we're there, so I'm gonna back up and we'll go another 20 or 30 thousandths deep and take another pass. All right, let me go down another 20. We'll do 25. 25 right there. Lock her down, boys. There's 1 inch right there. Well, 1 inch and 375, so we need to go 125 thousandths more. So that would be 45, so we need to go 145. Right there. Let's back her up, do it again. Well, it's just going to take me a little while to do, so I'll return when we get these done. Well, it's quite possible that this could be our last pass. I'm going to do about 40 thousandths. Let's see. Do we make it all the way through this time? No, sir. Well, let's go on a little deeper. See if it'll make it. We barely busted through, so let's go a little more. About right there. All right, lock her down, boys. Lock her down. That should be it right there. Oh, yeah, fellas. I believe we got this done. Let's have a look-see. What do we have? My goodness, I had that pretty tight, didn't I? Sure enough. With RTS, it don't look too bad. No, sir. I'll tell you what, let's measure this. See how much wobble we had in our milling machine. This measures approximately exactly, oh wow, maybe 10 thousandths wobble on that one, and that one only 5. Interesting. Maybe that machine ain't as wore out as I thought. Let's try this. I found me 2 random 3/8 bolts in the drawer up there. Let's see if they actually match up where we can bolt this together and slide her up and down. Y'all look at that. Would you just look at that? Awesome. Now all we got to do, get this set up on the milling machine, bore this out to 1 1/4 inch. Well, as you can see, we're on the old lathe. I was having trouble with that boring bar, wanting to chatter real bad. So I brought it over here and put it in the forge-all chuck. We got approximately 15 thousandths to go. Let's take us a little, oops, I'm hitting the camera with the lathe. Let me scoot y'all back. All right. Let's take about a 10 thousandths cut. Let's see what we get. What do we have? This is showing 46, and we need to go to, well, a little over 50, maybe 10. Let's go another 10-ish. See what happens. What about now? That is well, it's about 260. I wanted to be 10 over. Tell you what, I want to see if I can open these 2 jaws because they're in the way here. See if we can stick that distributor in there and see what it feels like. All right, let's get the distributor. All right, will it or won't it? Oh yeah, look at there. I don't really feel much slop at all. I know there's some, but it ain't much. Nope, I think it'll be just fine dandy. We'll drill a hole for a hold down. Oh, and yeah. We're fixing to have a little get together here in about an hour or so I got to stop and get ready for that. But depending on how late that goes, later on tonight, we may go ahead and weld these 2 pieces together. Then we got to cut a little U-shape out of that piece too. Forgot about that. Then we'll cut this little feller off. Hopefully get the pulley on that shaft. Then we'll put this on the motor and we'll be done with this. Oh, yeah. Anyways, I might see you tonight. If I don't, I'll see you Monday. Either way, tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday's day of rest. That's what I plan on doing. I hope you do the same. See y'all later. 'Tis Monday. And as you can tell, we are at the machine shop. We're going to bore our hole out in our pulley here to match our distributor. This is the distributor shaft. Goes down in the housing. It is approximately 490. Let me check it again. Well, this one here's showing 480. That's odd. Mine at the house said 490. Anyway, we're going to make her fit pretty tight, but you know, not so tight that we have to drive it on. We're going to bore it out with this drill bit first, and then we're going to use boring bar from then on. Alright, let me get the boring bar set up real quick like. Boring bar is set up. Where are we at now? 476. I just remeasured. I cleaned the shaft up first. Remeasuring it, and it's more consistent now than it was. It's about 487. I think that's what it's supposed to be. I believe I told y'all 497 the other day. I know it's a 7. I just don't remember which one. We're going to go to about 488 or so, hopefully. So we got, I don't know, 12, 13 thousandths to go. Not a lot. So let us be careful and not go too big because I don't have another pulley. Alright. What do we have now, sirs and ma'ams? We have approximately exactly, well that didn't take but maybe a thousandth. Well, what's going on here? It's tapered, for one thing. So yeah, this should be interesting. Why I need a new lathe. Let's go 2, 4. We'll take 6 per thousandths. See what that does. What about now? Come on, man. Yeah, look at that. I think that'll work just fine, Danley. Well, the Artiz fits pretty good. Yeah, I'm pleased with it. There's just a minimal amount of play. That's what I wanted. Now I got to run around town. We got to go get some bolts for different things on this motor because I want to hear it run here in the next day or two. Then I got to go to Ireland to get some parts for it too. A couple hours, we'll head back to the shop and keep on working on this. Back from town, we're in the shop now. I got to determine where we're going to cut this off. Before I can do that though, I need to finish welding this stuff up, cut this little U out. And I ain't real sure, but this may have to go a little deeper too. We'll just have to wait and see. But let me get this welded up firstly, get it bolted up, and then we'll see about cutting that distributor off. All right, let's put this little fella on here. I went ahead and cut that out with the plasma cutter. Let's bolt this little fella up here and see what we're working with. It ain't exactly 90. I may have to do some whooping on it, depending on, you know, how not straight the shaft is. But let's get the distributor, put it in there. I can see now this should be a little bit wider. This piece here should be a little bit taller because we're really close right there. That don't leave us a whole lot of adjustment up and down. But I think we'll cut the little feather off about right there. What we're gonna cut it off with? I guess the cutoff wheel will probably do it. If we mess this up, I got one more HEI distributor. This one here, wrong instrument. This one here came out of Duty Brown Dooley's bed. It sure did. I got a new stuff for it, but anyway, let's get that cutting, man. Well, mark this shaft. We're leaving it extra long just because. Let's cut it off though. Oakley dokley. Y'all watch this right here. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? This will go hither, probably about in that area there. Here's something that is an issue. This little fella here, he may try to do that right there. I'm wondering if the button here might keep it from moving out. But what I'm probably gonna have to do is machine this good and flat and true. Then we're gonna have to put some kind of a thrust washer here, and then whatever we need to make up the difference. You know, if this needs to be there, we'll have to put washers here. Yeah, because we can't have that doing that. Anyway, what I got to do next is we got to drill and tap for a hold down. I want it over here, you know, because that's the side of small block Chevrolet's on. But I think it looks pretty good. Yep. Let me work on this hold down a little bit. I've determined where the hold down is going to go, so let's drill and tap a hole. I got to take this feller out of the way. All right. I don't have a hold down. I guess I could steal one off of something. I might do that in a minute, but I got to start tearing this back apart and get this chain and everything, get it timed. Uh, let's pull this off. I'm hoping this set screw marked that, because we're going to spot it with a drill. Yeah, I think it's good enough. We'll spot it with the drill, and that'll let it get a little more bite with this set screw. And I will probably Loctite that set screw too, because I don't want it coming loose. I completely forgot. We got to countersink these. Yeah, I got some bolts at the bolt store earlier, so let's take that little feller there off. All right, let me work on this countersinking. Well, we got us a dilemma on our countersinking adventures. Well, here's the bolt. See how it's a flat head. It's got to be countersunk. I want it in that hole just like it right there, but as you can see, it's not countersunk. Nope. Well, that's the smallest countersink I got, and it's too big. It hits the shaft here. We can't have that. I need a 1/2 inch countersink is what I need. Well, I found a 1/2 inch center drill we use on the lathe, but the angle's wrong. This angle here's, I don't know what it is, but they're not the same. So that ain't gonna work. The only choice I've got is to either wait a couple of days and get a countersink the right size, or take this 1/2 inch drill bit, use it for a countersink, because it's basically the same angle as that bolt. So I think that's what we're gonna do. Hopefully we don't mess nothing up. Fingers crossed. Let us do some countersinking. Let's give her the old try. Hopefully this works. Let's see what that looks like. Where's my bolt? Here's my bolt. It's not bad, but that's as deep as I can go. Yep. So it's going to have to do. We're going to have Loctite on the bolt, so I think it'll be okay. Let me do these other two real quick. I found a 5/8 drill bit and used it instead. That's all. I mean, 5/8 is as big as I could go, but yeah, she's countersunk pretty good. I think we'll be okay there. It's going to have Loctite on the bolts anyway, so I think we're good there. What am I going to do now? Well, I've got to get this motor back in time. When I first tore this motor apart, starting on this, I took a picture of where the cam gear was, so I could, put the chain back like it goes and all that. Well, I have since turned this crank when we put that harmonic damper on the other day. So I got to get the motor back in time and then get the chain sprocket on. Then we got to put the front end back on in our little bracket we made. And, well, there's a lot of little knick-knack bullcrap I got to do. We need to get it mounted on the run stand. And I think all I got to do is take this motor mount off, because this should be, this bolt pattern here should be the same as the small block shimmy lay. So, yeah, there's still lots of little stuff to do, like this right here. There's a pipe that goes here somewhere. I don't have that pipe, so I think it's a steam pipe like on the LT1. I either got to block it off like this, or maybe this 6.0 over here's got it on there. If so, well, let's just look and see real quick. Yes, sir, it does. Well, it's got, oh, that goes through the throttle body. No, it doesn't. Here's the, well, it does, but it crosses over here too. So we'll steal this off of this one here. Yep. There's a lot of little knick-knack bullcrap like that I got to do. So let me get busy doing that. Not sure how much of that I'm going to show. Anyway, I'll be back in a little while and let you know what all I got done. All right, here's what I got going on. My cam dot is right there, but it was over here. I can barely see this dot down here, but I can see it. Anyway, what I did, I can't turn that cam by hand because, all the springs and rockers are installed. So what I had to do was just hook it to the crank and then turn it and get my dot at the top, because that was the quickest and easiest place to put it. Well, now our dot on this bottom gear sprocket is 2 or 3 teeth off this way. So what I got to do is take this little feller off, get this out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Then I've got to turn this crank until I see the dot on it at the top. Well, that ain't wanting to turn, man. Okay, there it goes a little bit. Let me get that chain out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. The dot is, well, I don't see it. So where did it go? Here it is right here. I see it now. I need to go another 2 teeth probably. About right there. I'm gonna say. I hope that's the dot. If not, we're gonna have some bent valves when we turn this thing over. Anyway, like I said, dot to dot is what they're supposed to be lined up as. But they're not. It's dot on top here, dot on top here. The reason this will work is because ratio. This one turns half as slow as this one. This one will turn 1 revolution. This will go a half. Well, if I hook everything back together now, I turn this in 1 revolution, this is going to go half. That'll put us back dot to dot. So let me get my chain all rigged up, and we'll turn her around and get them lined up dot to dot. I'll show you. Here comes the fun part. Getting this little feller on here and then getting it on that dowel pin on that cam. All right, let me see. I gotta turn her on around. Well, that chain won't slip. There it went. Approximately right there. Should be it. No, it ain't either. We're a tooth off still. Well, when I get this back like it's supposed to be, I'll be back. Well, I managed to get it where it's supposed to be, so tighten that little feller up right there. Let me double check. The mark is right up here. The mark is right there. I'm gonna rotate her 360 on the crank and let's see what happens. Maybe this little feller here don't want to grab a hold. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I might have to whoop on that with a Hummer, I think. Let's whoop on it. Now, maybe it'll let me turn it. Let me get out there where I can see what I'm doing. All right. Are they lining up about right there? Let me have a look, see. Oh yeah. Perfectamundo. Yep. Do y'all understand what I'm saying though? This turns half or twice the speed this one does. So 1 revolution, half a revolution puts that up here. That's how I knew they would line up. But we're good there. So let me pull this back off, get these bolts out, get my countersinking done. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Like I said, there's a lot of knick-knack bull crap. Let me get all this done. I'll probably see y'all tomorrow. Yep. Well, it's been about a day and a half since I last talked to y'all. I just turned the camera off, fellas, and got busy because there was a lot of little knick-knack bull crap to get done. But would you look at it? Would you just look at them pretty headers? Oh, yeah. Let me walk you around and show you what all we got done. We got plug wires done, but a couple of them, especially on the other side, they need to be a 45 boot. They're going to rub the header and get burnt. I'll probably buy some 45 boots and do that eventually. But we got a full belt system now. That's a 95-inch belt, by the way. And, well, the tensioner, I was going to use the one that come off the truck, but it stuck out too far. So I went and got one off of an LS car, LS1 Camaro. Well, it stuck out too far. But here's what I did. This is where it normally would bolt to. on this side over here. Well, I put a plate on the back side and then bolted it to the plate, and it lines up pretty much perfectly. The only issue is it's going to probably rub our water neck. So what I might do is move this up, get this belt away from there. We'll just have to say, I probably will do that anyway, just for peace of mind. Also, speaking of belt, I need to tie these wires up because they're rubbing. Anyway, here's the boots that are touching the header. We'll have to fix that. But there's the distributor mounted. It's ugly. I ain't gonna lie to you, but if it serves its purpose, that's all that matters. The belt. Well, you know, I didn't know what length I needed till I got all this done, and then I'd have to wait a day or two, you know, to order a belt. So I went ahead and ordered just a long belt last week because you can splice them together, and that's what I did right here. It's not a real good splice. It's most likely going to fly apart. You trim them down and overlap it and super glue it. That probably ain't going to last very long. But now that I know the length is 26.5 inches on the outside. Well, last night I couldn't find a 26.5, but I found 27 on Amazon, so I ordered one, but it won't be here for a couple days. But if it fits, I'll get a couple more for backups. If this lasts, 10 or 15 minutes running it here, that'll be good. I did make a huge oversight. I can't get a belt on the bottom. No, sir. It's a good thing I had to cut this because that's the only way I could have got it on the bottom. There's a bolt. See this bolt here on the back of the water pump? Well, there's one down there right next to the pulley. We're going to have to grind that head down, and then that'll let me slip the belt in there. I think it'll be okay if I do that. But for now, this will work. What else? I don't know. I had to take the intake off, put the little O-ring gaskets on. There's been a lot of holes I had to plug, like cam sensor and oil pressure, and I think there's a crank sensor over there. I put that sensor in. All this is metric fittings, by the way, so we ain't gonna be able to know what our oil pressure is or temp because it's metric too. I got the fittings coming, but they won't be here till probably tomorrow. I don't have time to wait. So we'll just have to cross fingers that we ain't running hot and we got oil pressure. I can't prime the oil system because, it doesn't have a distributor oil pump with oil pumps up front here. The way you do the LS is take this plug out, put a fitting in there, pump it up with a pump up sprayer. Well, that's metric fitting too. I don't have one. So it's probably going to take a while to pump up the lifters. Hope it's got a good starter and we got a good battery. Anyway, what I'm going to do right now, let's take this distributor off. I got to try to get this belt on top of it. And then we're going to roll it over there, put it on the engine stand, and fingers crossed really good that the little fella's going to fire up. I'm hoping I can just loosen this hold down right here and get it out of the way. And then maybe tilt this down and get this belt on there. Something like that. Yeah, I think that'll work right there. Now, let me pull this cap off. I want to see where the pointer is because I want it to be, well, I know where number 1 is. It's got to be pointing there. So let me take this cap off real quick. Which way are you pointing, little buddy? Oh, you're way over here. So let me see if I can slip this feller and get it approximately where it needs to go. That's close enough that hopefully we can twist that distributor around. Let me see. Let me make sure. I had to put a new ignition control module in this thing. And, well, the wires had been cut. So I had to redo the wiring. And then it didn't have a coil in the cap, so I had to do that. Anyway, let me get this little feller back on here some kind of way. Number 1 is right there. Actually, I think I need to slip it one more tooth and we'll probably be okay. There we go. We'll try that. If I got to slip it another one, well, I'll just have to do it. But let me get this cap put back on and then we'll wheel her over there to the run stand. Well, I finally got the cap on straight. Now we got to tighten the belt up just a little. I don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on it because, you know, it is glued together. It's a cog belt. It don't need a lot of tension. So about right there, I think it's going to work. All right, let me get this little fella over here on the run stand. I got to get some some hoses hooked up because I would like it to sit there and idle for a little while. Let me do that, and I'll be back. Well, there's the deal. I've got most everything ready. Got the carburetor device on. We're using the old Edelbrock that was on the Ford. I got some hoses hooked up. I got thinking, I really don't want to run this thing without priming the oil system, and I'd like to know what kind of oil pressure it's making. So, called around town, and I found the fitting that we need. It's going to serve two purposes. One, oh crap, I dropped it. Let me pick it up. One is it will go right here and let us use a regular old oil pressure gauge. Two, right here, I think I told y'all about this a while ago. There's a plug you take out here. This same fitting will go in that plug. You put this bar fitting on there, get you a pump up sprayer, fill it with oil, and you can prime the system that way. And that's what we're going to do firstly, and then we'll take this out and put it up there. So let's get to priming. Well, I got both valve covers off so we can see when we're getting oil up through the rocker arms. I don't know how long this takes because I've never done it before because I don't know LS, and this ain't going to operate, so that's good. Yep, that's real good. Well, when I figure this out, I'll pump this up and we'll get oil flowing through everywhere. I'm assuming it's got to fill up the oil filter first. I don't know. But when I get this, there we go. Well, I broke it, so that's good. Maybe it'll still work. No, it ain't going to work. I don't know, fellas. I'm about to give up because this whole project this week, man, I'm telling you, it has worked on me. Yep. Anyways, let me see if I can repair this. Then we'll do some pumping over there, maybe. I think that fixed it. So let this pumpy pump. Nope, it ain't building a bit of pressure. So that's good. It ain't been a good day, fellers. Nope. The Fiery Dragon, it put about 5 gallons of oil all over the boiler room shanty floor. Yep. So it's down for the count right now. And it's just, yeah, been a day. It's been a day, fellers. Let me tell you. I'll be back in a little while. I'll let you know if this worked or not. Well, I finally got that confounded pump-up sprayer to work. And y'all look at here. Would you look at it? See that Earl all in there? All these are good. I got one over here that was not pumping. Did it start? Yeah, looks like it did. See the little oil right there? They're all pumping oil now, so that's awesome. That means the lifters are pumped up, hopefully, and it should fire up pretty quickly once we get our timing dialed in with our front mount distributor. Oh yeah. Let me get the valve covers back on, get the oil pressure gauge hooked up, get this undone. I gotta have a fuel system, fill it up with some Wooders, hook it up to a bantry. I think we'll be ready to fire it up. Remember me telling you earlier about these here movers we was going to use? Well, here they are. I got some old janky homemade couplers here. It may not clamp up tight. I don't know. We're going to find out though. Yeah, tight enough for this purpose. Let me grab the other one real quick. And there's a little loose. That's better. All right, I still got a few things to do. Well, get ready to fire it up. I'll be back. Well, everything is ready except for putting some Wooders in it. And, well, here's the deal. It's kind of late, and I don't want to get arrested for disturbing the peace. So here's what I'm thinking about doing. I'll just pour a little gasolines in the car. I'll fill the bowls up. And we'll crank the little feller over. And hopefully it will at least make some kind of noise. If it does, great. Maybe it'll even start up. Then we'll come back in the morning time, you know, when we won't get arrested. And we'll fire the thing up, let it sit here and run. I'll have to put some, you know, radiator fluids in it and whatnot. But yeah, let me put y'all on the camera stand. And actually, firstly, I I got my thingamabob hooked up here to check for spark. Y'all watch this. Hopefully the camera will pick the spark up. Oh yeah, y'all see that? She's sparking, sure enough. Let me put you on the stand. Let's see what happens. Let's give her a drink of gasolines, fill the bowl up. Does this have 2 bowls, one on either side? If so, do I need to fill them both up? I don't know Edelbrock carbs, what I'm trying to tell you. Let's open the throttle. A little bit to grow on, buddy. All right, fellers. Ignition is on. Fire in the hole. Oh yeah, we are way out of time. So, let me move it this way and see what happens a little bit there. Yeah, we're still way out of time. Let me get the timing light, see where we're at. All right, I got the gun hooked up. At least we're making noise. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Let me turn it over, see if I can catch where we're timed at. Well, I'm not flashing. What is going on? Huh. Interesting. Y'all saw a minute ago we were getting spark on this here. Let me try it again. My timing light ain't working. What is going on? That got on the exhaust on the Duty Brown the other day. I don't know if it tore it up or not. It may have. Let me try it again, see if she's going to flash. No, sir. I don't know what's happened to my timing light. Well, that's good. Let me put it on a different wire just to make sure, you know, that ain't the issue. We'll put it over here on number 20. Is she going to fire? I don't know why this ain't working. I guess I must have burnt that up. Let me keep fooling with this, see if I can get this to work, and then I'll be back. Maybe it'll start firing. Well, I never could get that timing light to light up. I don't know what's going on with it. But we know we're firing because, you know, it's popping back through the carb. I've twisted this thing all around. It still wants to pop back in the carb. So I'm pulling this plug out. We're going to get back on top dead center 1. And I'm going to pull the cap and see where our rotor's pointed at. Make sure, you know, I may be off on that a lot. All right, let me roll her around till we get on the compression stroke. All right, I think we're on a compression stroke. Yeah, so let me see if that coincides with my mark over there. Yeah, I think it's pretty close. So let me pull this cap off. I'll let you know when I find out. Well, here's the deal. I am a Dumas. Y'all know that. For some reason, y'all always put number 1 right there. Well, for whatever reason, I had it right here. So I had to move all of them clockwise, 1 position. That'll put us where I can get some more timing where we're not so advanced. Because that's what's going on. It's so advanced, it's, yeah. Anyway, let me set y'all on the camera stand again. We'll give her 1 more try. All right, let me see if we're squirting any fuels. Oh, yeah, we got some squirt action. All right, ignition on. Fire in the hole. Oh, look here, fellers. She's wanting to run. I don't know which way I need to move it. Let's try this again. Oh, look here. Well, what has happened? Did I knock a wire off or? Interesting. Hey, at least it sort of ran. Golly, Pete. Holy crap. Man, that scared me half to death. That tells me we may have jumped time. Our belt may have slipped, but I don't see how because it's a cogged belt. Yeah, that may be what's going on, though. Let me put this back on here and just see what we got going on. Where did it go? Here it is. That backfire, man, that scared me half to death. I ain't gonna lie. What we got here? Golly, we have jumped time some kind of way. I wish my timing light would work. I sure do. Well, that ain't good, fellers. If it's gonna jump time that easily, no, that ain't good at all. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me check the time and make sure it did, jump like I think. And I will get it back in time. I will tighten that belt up. First thing I got to do is get it back on top dead center. I will let you know what I find. But hey, it did run. It run crappily, but it did run for just a few seconds. That is awesome. Well, that is in fact what happened. That right there, we're on top dead center, and it should be, the rotor should be way down here. Let me get back in time and tighten that belt up. I'm hoping that 27-inch belt comes pretty early tomorrow. It's a fully made belt. It ain't glued together. We can tighten her up a lot tighter than this one. Anyway, let me get this back in time and we'll give her another try. Well, I think I got her back in time. Let's flip the switch. Fire and hold once more. Oh, wait a minute. Unplug my wires. Let's plug them back in. All right. Turn the switch on. Fire and hold for the 984th time. Oh, yeah, fellas. Some just popped in this distributor area. That ain't good. No. Let's give her a little bit of timing. About right there. See what it does. No. Go back the other way. Something keeps popping in here. I don't know what's going on. Interesting. Man, I wish my timing light worked. That's aggravating. She ain't doing nothing now. It ain't even trying now, so I don't know what's going on. Let me check again and make sure we're getting spark. Because it just died all of a sudden. Yeah, we're getting spark. I don't know unless the feller's jump time again. If so, why? Why is it doing that? I heard a little popping noise a couple of times up here. This is interesting. It ain't even trying. It popped inside here again. The battery's about dead. Yeah, I think we're about done. Well, let me put the charger on the battery. I got to study what's going on. Let me check the timing again, make sure it didn't jump. I got the belt pretty tight now, so I don't know unless the pulley's slipping on the shaft. I don't know. I'll let you know in a little while. Well, as I suspected, she's jumped time. Yeah, I got her on top dead center, close enough. And it's way up here. It should be way down here. I don't know what's going on, unless I'm wrong about that needing to be a 1-to-1 ratio. I don't think I am, but I could be wrong. There's something popping in here, like this rotor's hitting something. I don't know. And it ain't the belt slipping because it's tight. Yes, sir, it's plenty tight. I don't think the pulley's slipping on the shaft because, I dimpled the shaft where the set screw is, and I don't think that's what it is. About the only thing left is I'm wrong on that needing to be a 1-to-1 ratio. It's getting kind of late, and I'm hungry. Y'all know me. I'm a growing boy and wasting away nothing. I got to have my food. So let me go eat. Let me study on this, and I reckon I'll see y'all in the morning. Fingers crossed. I can figure out, and, we can get this thing running. Well, I've done a wee bit of investigating this morning, and here's what I discovered. A pulley here was rocking back and forth. You know how I dimpled the shaft? Well, it is like it was rocking back and forth in that dimple. And it could have been slipping. The reason it's doing that is I didn't Loctite these screws, these set screws, because I wasn't sure if I was going to have to take that pulley back off for some reason. So they're still not Loctited, but they're tightened now really, really tight. Let me set y'all up on the camera stand. Let's see what happens. All right, let me give her a pump or two. I've done filled the carb up. Ignition on. Fire and hold. Oh, look at here, fellas. I believe she's going to run. Awesome! Oh, yeah. That is awesome. I wish my timing light worked. But the scooter to the door, get some wooders in it, fix us a fuel tank. We're going to let her sit here and run. Sounds pretty good, too. Oh, yeah. Well, I do believe she's ready to go. We had 2 water leaks. We only got one now. This water neck, the O-ring, I guess it's just flat and mashed and wore out. Then this fella here was leaking. It wasn't tight. So I tightened it up and made it quit leaking. We're fixing to fire this little fella up, and we're also going to do some mic testing. This mic here on my old camera used to sound like garbage, loud noises, motors running. I've noticed though, it's doing a lot different. I don't have to do hardly anything to the audio. Used to, I'd have to bring the volume down on loud noises. No, sir, it does it all itself now with this phone. So we're going to test this mic out, running this motor, and then I'm going to undo it, and we're going to use the cell phone microphone. Let's see what that sounds like. Anyways, let's fire this thing up. All right, fellas, here we go. I had to use this oil pressure gauge too, by the way, because this fitting for it is different than this one. So we got to look at this for the oil pressure. Anyway, ignition on, fire and hold. I'm going to idle it up a little bit for now until it warms up. Sitting at about 900 RPM. Trying to see if I hear that clicking and popping. I don't hear it right now. Hear that little bit of loping it's doing? That's not cam. I don't know what's causing that. It could be timing, it could be fuel. We'll let her warm up though, see if it does any better. The loping is worse. Let me tune on this carb a little bit, see what we got going on. Making sure it ain't running hot. I got my fan right here. We can use it. Plug wire's already burning. Yep. Let me see if I can't tie it back. I wish my timing light would work too. Well, I killed it. Let me fire it back up. I'm gonna put that timing light on here in a minute, see if it works now. all of a sudden started getting a bunch of blow by. It made a weird noise. I don't know what that was. Timing light's working now. Whatever. I don't know why it wouldn't work last night. Well, it's bouncing between about 8 and 12. Let's give her a little more. That don't sound good. No, sir, that don't sound good at all. Started getting a lot of valve train rattle all of a sudden. Oil pressure was about 25. I don't know. I don't know how warm it is. Let me get my gun real quick, check it. This upper hose is 179, 180. That ain't hot. What about the bottom one? 111. So it is cooling. Started getting a lot of rattle up here on the rockers and stuff. That ain't good. I don't know what's going on there. Let me fire it up again, see what happens. Hear that rattling? That ain't good. Oil pressure's 25. Yeah. Not good, fellas. Very quickly, let me see what the mic on the phone sounds like. Well, we have one success. The old HEI is doing what it's supposed to, other than the surging. It's the timing. Like I said, it could be this belt, where I made it. It could be that. I'll be glad when my good belt gets here. But bad news is it got a lot of valve train noise all of a sudden. It sounded good up till, a minute or so before I shut it off. It also started having a lot of blow by all of a sudden, a few minutes before that. I didn't rebuild this. My nephew did. Christopher, the one that come up with the latest merch design, he's the one that rebuilt this. Christopher, what did you do to this motor? I don't know what to think about the valve train noise. What I'm going to do is let it cool down. I'll come back out here and fire it up after a while. I won't be able to do it on camera because I got to get this video out. It was supposed to be out yesterday. But anyway, let her cool off. Come out here and fire it up. And if it's quiet, then I don't know what to think. Y'all know I don't know LS motors. I don't know what it could be, but I do know they have, what is it called? Displacement on demand and all that garbage. It could be some of that. I don't know if this motor had that. I'll ask my nephew, see if he remembers what year this motor came out of. But yeah, we gotta do some studying because we can't use this motor like that. Well, I do think it's pretty awesome that we accomplished our goal. Oh yeah, we're running an LS motor on an HEI distributor that's mounted out front. I looked for a gearbox that would, a 90-degree gearbox that let me stand the distributor up like normal. I couldn't find one that was rated for any kind of RPM. This thing, the motor will probably see 6,000 or so max. So that means the cam distributor is going to see about 3,000 because it's a 2-to-1 ratio. I never could find a gearbox that was rated for that RPM. I'll keep looking. If I find one, then we'll try to do that. It did take a while, a week or two, scratching my brain a lot to come up with this. But now that I've done it, it'll be easy as pie. Matter of fact, I'll probably pull all that bracketry off, make us a pattern. That way we can build it again, and you can build it in a day's time. Yeah, because we're probably going to start doing more LS motors. They're a dime a dozen. This very cheap, easy horsepower. You make 400 horsepower out of 5.3, just like that. Anyway, I am happy to get that done. It's pretty awesome to accomplish things. That's why I did it, which brings me to this point here. The last video on this right here, I had 4 or 5, not a bunch, I had 4 or 5 naysayers. I don't even remember what it said. Something about the motor's going to run like garbage now because I'm running a distributor on it. And I asked him, how, Never could get an answer. Another one said it's simple as getting a harness from a junkyard to PCM, hooking it up, and tuning it, and this and that. And evidently, they missed the point where I don't want electronics. I don't want those coil packs, and I just don't want electronics. I can tune this thing right here with a 9/16 wrench to loosen the distributor and a screwdriver to tune the car. That's all I need. If you got a computer on, you got to have a laptop software, and fool on that. Sitting on the side of the road, it's a whole lot easier to troubleshoot that than it is one that runs on the computer. Anyways, enough of that. My motor, I'll build it how I see fit. That's what I'm saying. If you don't like this, fine. I don't like computers, fine. That's what makes the world go around. Everybody's got a different opinion. Enough of that. Anyway, I got to get in the house, edit this video, get it uploaded for tonight. Like I said, it's supposed to have been out last night. Anyway, let me get in there and do that. We're going to have to tear this motor apart, probably. I don't know. I'll do some studying on it. Be looking for that. Anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.